You know, it's beautiful out here. It's beautiful out here. It's episode 44.
Don't you know I'm no good for you? I've learned to lose, you can't afford to. Tore my shirt to stop you bleeding, but nothing ever stops you leaving. Quiet when I'm coming home and I'm on my own. I can lie, say I like it like that, like it like that. I can lie, say I like it like that, like it like that. Don't you know too much already? I'll only hurt you if you let me. Call me friend, but keep me closer. Call me back, and I'll call you on the parties of quiet when I'm coming home and I'm on my own. Like a lie, say I like it like that, like it like that. Yeah, like a lie, say I like it like that, like it like that. But nothing is better sometimes. Once we've both said our goodbyes, let's just let it go. Let me let you go. Quiet when I'm coming home and I'm on my own. I can lie, say I like it like that, like it like that. I can lie, say I like it like that, like it like that.
I know you're cheering. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Was That's a song that's very dear to me. And if you paid attention to what was going on last week during the podcast, which I think we had a good amount of the summer crowd kind of rolled in. We are talking about a few things. We're talking about love, because I often talk about love because I've always said it before. I'm a single man. I'm an old single man, so it's like, what else would I talk about besides love? Because I know a lot. Usually, when you have a podcast, you usually talk about what you know, and I know love, and that's a beautiful thing because everybody chimes in. Because I got some questions this week about some relationship advice, because I give very good advice, they say. But last week I hit up on a very sensitive subject, and people just wanted to tell me that that they felt me. They was like, I feel you on this one. And what I brought up was how beautiful and poetic love can be sometimes, and how someone that was a big part of your life, for let's say that you live for 80 years, you might be with this person for 37 years. You might be with this person for 24 years. You might be for this person, I mean, life's so short. You might be them for months. But a good amount of time. And let's say that you had a relationship, whether you had one of those long, what is it called again, when you live together so long that if you look up the law for the states, you may be married because it's past like 7 years. Civil, common law. What is it? Common law marriage? Common law marriage. Look it up. It's pretty. I once had a friend that he was very nervous because I remember he was popping off, I believe, in Tennessee or something. You know how people in Tennessee roll sometimes. They get very serious about that common law, like around 7 years or so. And I was like, I made a joke and I said something to the effect of like, man, you're approaching that common law. Because let's face it, he had a girlfriend, a live-in girlfriend. But usually if you have that live-in girlfriend, you're not serious. Especially if it's on, you're rolling around, you're 5, 6. But 7 was about to sneak up, and I made a little subtle comment, and he didn't like that. Like, he started kind of sweating. He's perspiring under his pits. I saw a girl recently, and I know it was hot as hell outside, but she had some perspiration under her pits, and I thought it was kind of hot. I thought it was kind of sexy. I was trying to get a sniff of that. What was that called? Endorphins? I don't even know. I was trying to spill my drink and see if I could, get a whiff. Or try to see if I could get a little bit of slide, like a little sweat kind of pours off. See if I could go up there, and I was almost willing, so we're in an outdoor setting, if I could go and catch it with my mouth. And see what it tastes like. Underarm sweat. Because it's raw. And that's just the only advantage of the hot season. You might be able to catch a little bit of that perspiration, maybe a little bit under the lip somehow. If you could sneak over there and maybe share like an app or something. Or if you could, maybe if you're outside playing, asking if they want to play some tennis or something. You try to get a whiff. A platonic whiff. That's what I like to call it, that platonic whiff. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But anyway, I remember I made a little joke about the common law, and he got a little nervous. And he turned white because he liked his girlfriend or his live-in, but he didn't like his girl, if you know what I mean, his live-in girlfriend. And he got around it. I don't know, like there was a law, like he like, hey man, during this we weren't together during these months. He went on a trip, I think to Africa, and he did a little trip, and he counted that as he built residence there or something, and he got out of it. So he was like, I'm glad you brought it up because I didn't want to get caught up, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, people were just like reaching out to me. That's the time I sold that's the time I saved him, because he didn't want to lock it up. He didn't want to lock that in, but people were reaching out because they're like, it's kind of nuts how things are like that. It's kind of nuts how that there are those moments where you're with somebody for that long, for that many years, and you see them every day and over again, and then one day you just fall out of love, or maybe you fall out of love with the person and you just can't go any further and you call it quits. and you don't even talk to him again. But that song that Billy and I just sang reminded me of that. There's some beautiful lyrics. There's some stanzas in there that really hit home. Especially the one when she basically just kind of sang, and I'm paraphrasing. I would never want to. I'll sing Billy, but I won't quote Billy directly out of respect. But there's that one line. God, when she says, "But nothing is better sometimes." That hits hard. Once we've both said our goodbyes. Because let's just face it, it's over, Once you say goodbye, let's not linger around. Let's not make this any worse. Let's just go our separate ways. Let's just let it go. Let me let you go. Beautiful. Quiet when I'm coming home. And that's where we are. That's where we are. So, are you staying positive and testing negative? That's such a bro thing right there, right? You're at the workplace. You're at the water cooler, filling up your water. And, like, how you doing? And that guy who's always trying to make a joke on a Monday morning because you work in a cubicle and you hate your life. Or maybe you love it. Good for you. And there's that guy that is really not interesting, and he has rehearsed material. He's not witty or natural in any way, and he says, staying positive and testing negative. And the first time you chuckle, you laugh, and then, a couple days later, he brings out the same old material. He's like a hack comic that just has everything's rehearsed. That's that kind of what it reminds me of, that saying. So are you staying? It's hard to stay positive. It's hard to stay positive. It's hard to get into certain moods. Production has definitely fell off. It'd be a problem if there wasn't so much time, I feel. But it's hot as hell, so that's not a relief. And then it's the quarantine. It's still lingering. It's still just there. It's not even, I don't even think we're even close to the end. I feel like there's going to be a lot more to have to go out and experience. So I'm not looking forward to this stretch here. And they say it's going to hit harder in the winter. And that's when I just decided, or I have to mentally prepare, especially for the fall and maybe a horrible winter. Mentally. And that's tough. And I think a lot of people, one thing I realize about this quarantine is that I'm not alone. And usually people go through bad spells or maybe get in funks and they're on their own because everybody else is just living their day to day, and there's ups and downs. But in something like this, everybody's down. Everybody's struggling to get through. And I think that's that's something else right there, Yeah, but I don't think anybody is riding the high wave right now or just up on the up. I think it's just everyone's going through it. And the people that you're around with a lot, you just kind of feel it. It's constant. It's just over there. You might see you might run into somebody you haven't seen in a little bit, and then you're thinking like, I hate this. I hate the idea that I haven't seen someone in a while, and I got to think, man, I know this, we got this, with the Ronas going on, I sure as hell don't want to give it to anybody. I mean, if somebody gave it to me, you'd be mad, and hopefully you would shake it, and it wouldn't be that horrible, but giving it to somebody would be, just kind of feel, I'd feel like an ass. So that's one thing. It's in the back of your mind. So you really can't relax and just enjoy any moment. I feel like something like that is always in the back of your head. Like, it's not just free flow. Like, yo, what's up, son? You bring it in. I want to hug people. I want to get, I want to kiss people on the mouth, without having to worry about it. I want to catch some sweat. I was talking about that girl's underarm sweat. She was perspiring and stuff, and I just wanted to get in there and get a little action. I didn't want to have to worry about catching anything or maybe giving somebody some stuff off my spittle. So that's in your mind, and you're thinking about that, and that's whack as hell. It just seems like it's just nothing's free and nothing's like really just. Still, we're just kind of stuck in this. Are we stuck in this matrix? Are we stuck in this? It's just not fun. And I think we're not even in the middle of it. Hopefully, maybe we're approaching the middle. But the springtime, I see maybe things loosen up. I feel like I want to go. I like to travel. When I can leave the country, I guess that means you got to get a vaccine. I don't see that anytime soon. Or you can just get on the airport and not have to worry about all this. Or you don't, we're in the South, or I'm in the South, and we got red, like thousands of cases every day are increasing. So even like traveling and like cross country, or maybe just taking a little trip, I feel like even that's somewhat irresponsible, because I was looking at some cooler climates, let's say if I wanted to whip up into Maine real quick, they don't have the increase from last time I checked. I didn't really look too close, but their percentages of increase in cases, you're coming from somewhere else. And some states are like, if you come from the South, you got to quarantine. So it's just a mess. I mean, you just don't want to think about stuff like that, because let's just face it, beforehand, we didn't have to worry about it. When you wanted to go and pop off something and do something fun. So that's a bummer. And I just think people go in waves. If you're normal and you have your good times and your bad times. I saw somebody gave birth, and they were just like, it was the weirdest birth ever, just because so my husband and my family couldn't be there in the room. Or they could be there, but it was just limited, and they had to stay, evidently. Like, you couldn't leave and go back. Like, usually the dude likes to go and play Madden or something, or maybe go get drink a pint or two or three somewhere and just kind of roll back and fall asleep in the chair or whatever. And they couldn't even do that. They had to stick and stay in the building or in the room, which was, a little different, but everything's, just a little bit off. So trying to get in that mindset that this is not even close to being over. And just to prepare for it and just doing the best that I can. Been trying to work on my diet. That's been working out pretty well. I'm always pretty active. I mean, I don't work out as hard as I should, but I do work out, and it always does feel like that helps a lot to get out and sweat a little bit. I even worked out outside the other day, and I sweat. I sweat. I could sweat about 6 pounds. Sometimes I'm just curious, because when you get out there and you get dripping, and especially if you try to drink a lot of water regularly, and that's always fun. Just dripping. But I'm probably going to have to add, I'm thinking, just to stay sane, you want to try to add probably some more things. I got some friends that meditate. They really like that. They meditate about 10 minutes a day. And they started real simple, and they're like, it's just like anything. You don't just master it early. It's something that you do work hard and you just practice. You do it daily. You might do it for 30 seconds, maybe the first day. Or if you feel like that's just the most productive, time that you spent meditating, that short period of time, but the next day you try to do maybe a minute and a half, and you get up to 5 minutes, and then, you know, the part of it is just making that time in your day to do it. Yoga was a big thing. Yoga, I'm always out on yoga after a bit, but I always felt better when I did yoga. Hot yoga, you know, but I guess a lot of that, I guess you can find an outside place that does that. Now, people are going outside and doing it. I mean, in towns, I bet they're meeting. They are. I know some people that are. So I know the studios, a lot of the studios are shut down or limited or whatever, but I was thinking about that. What do you do? I do things. It's a good thing. You know, once in a while, people give me, you know, shout out. I can't remember who it was, but one of the listeners told me about my I had those chafed nipples. And I put out it on the podcast. I was like, you know, what's that chafed nipple? I got that chafed nipple. How do you fix it? Because I was starting to run again. And I'm still trying to run a little bit, trying to get out. I'm not a runner by any means. My time's pretty bad, but you just got to get out there and get moving. And you do feel you do feel better. But I tell you what, man, my ass ain't going to be outside from the time of 8 in the morning to 9 at night, or maybe 8:30 at night. Anytime between that, Jay is out, bruh. I'm getting my work in early, or I'm sticking around and I'm taking a late night jog. You will not see LU out at 1:30, you know, just like running, jogging 15, 17 minutes a mile or whatever, because I'm sad pace. I'm in and out. And even if you do run that early, you're still drenched, hot as hell. And that's something I'll probably have to address. The runs. I've read this. I've made some general observations about, you know, just running, going there and going back. But so I don't know. And when I put that out there, somebody told me that you take deodorant and you put it on your nipples. And, oh my gosh, it helps so much. So you just take that stick, that speed stick. Sometimes I get that Secret. It's pH balanced. I've worn Secret since middle school. I've noticed that, like, right guard, I had a rash. If it's jelly, I get a rash. And for some reason, somebody said start Secret. So I started using Secret, and it told on me. That was an old middle school joke. Nah, but actually I was embarrassed to use Secret. Because that's when, let's just admit that genders were a lot more definite. You know, it's just like, there was like, you're a dude in middle school in the 90s, you're going to get picked on for using Secret. So I remember I'd been out there in the corner, and I'd be just putting a couple swipes on it. And I'd be just, when people try to ask me if I had any of that speed stick, I'd be like, nope, I'm out. Because I knew I had that Secret hitter. That Secret hitter was just like powdery, and it was beautiful, and it smelled like the girl I had a crush on in middle school. I didn't know what she wore. I never would get close to her because I would probably throw up like the guy on South Park. Who threw up? Kyle? Kyle threw up every time a girl got close to him. And that is what middle school and elementary school was for me, and high school, and probably all the way up until pretty late in life. Girl comes, talks, I throw up. I mean, of course, I wouldn't actually throw up, but my body reacted. Like, the vomit didn't come out, but everything else. I got, you know, a little hot under the collar, started sweating. My palms were sweating. It's kind of like Eminem before he took the 8 Mile freestyle. That's how I felt. I probably had vomit on my shirt, or some mom's spaghetti on my shirt, because it was delicious. Love spaghetti. Shout out to spaghetti and meatballs. Don't get the meat infused, bruh. Get those meatball hitters, boy. Put those big balls, bam, bam, bam. Spread them around that dish. Mix those noodles up. Have that sauce. A little bit of Parmesan. and go to work. Love spaghetti and meatballs. I gotta have those balls, bro. Gotta have the balls, you know? Because I just picture somebody just rolling them, you know? Rolling them and just kind of making them tight, throwing them against the wall. They probably stick for just a little bit, then they slowly roll down, like the slime stuff they used to play with in elementary school. You remember that stuff? That slime stuff? It would like crawl down, or that little octopusy thing. That I remember you threw the octopusy thing. You be at the grocery store, and you have a quarter or back then it was that quarter, that 2.5, and you twist it and you get a little octopus and you throw it on the wall, and it was kind of slimy. It wasn't really slime, but it was an octopus. It was like a little soft dot, and it would crawl. That's what you want your meatballs to do. You throw those hitters up on there, they stick. They kind of crawl down, but you put your plate up there and you scoop up the meatball because that's delicious. And I love that spaghetti and meatball. That's what true love's like. Spaghetti, meatball, peanut butter, jelly. Don't be tripping with anything else. It's peanut butter and jelly, you know? People trying to get other stuff in the conversation. It's peanut butter and jelly. It's been like that from day one, bro. And it's delish. Still probably top sandwich of mine of all time. And I'd eat it more if I wasn't trying to watch what I ate. And that peanut butter sometimes is not good for me because it gets kind of stuck at times. If you have a solution for that. So anyway, I was throwing it out there that what do you do to keep sane? Because and like I mentioned last time, I just talked about my nips. And every time I run now, I cover my nips, get those nipples hitters. I get some Secret, if I have a Secret or whatever. I got to get the powder and I put it on my nipples. And my nipples, man, they be acting wild, dude, during a run. Sometimes they get hard as hell. And then sometimes, they're just kind of sitting back. I don't know what it is. I think they're just trying to look to see what's going on, see if there's maybe some bears out. Because do we have black bears still? I think there was a black bear that made its way out here recently. And it's trying to see that black bear, I'm mad thirsty right now. I'm so sorry. So rude. But you wouldn't want me to fall out, be dehydrated by any means. Because this is the Lonely Uncle podcast. This is episode 45. Whoa. Man, a lot of the podcast game has stepped up a lot, and a lot of people have followed. Coming up on my 2-year anniversary, and that's nuts. And I know I haven't done an episode every week. I did it for a good stretch, and I was just like, how did I do that? But kind of slowed it down a little bit. I'm trying to put out a couple here and there, and if I get inspired and maybe hit my stride here, I could put out some more material. Sometimes I like to put out little promos and just here on the gram, Lonely Uncle 40, and give me a follow, and I'll follow you back. But I just put a little promo here, but it's weird, and like especially during quarantine, I've noticed like this podcast, especially by white people, some white men, have just like, the percentage has gone so up. So I'm getting lost in the mix in the way, but I still have my core following. I saw this one guy opened up for a comic that I really love because I love comedy. Big fan. I'm one of the things I was thinking about. I can't wait to go back to a show. I want to go to a music show. I want to go see a really good band perform. I miss that a lot. And if you asked me that before this, I probably wouldn't be too crazy about it because I like to go to a show every now and then. But one thing I do miss is I miss going to a show, and I want to go to I almost called it Red Rocks, but the downtown joint in the R-Town. I want to go to that joint and watch a show outside. Even when it's hot, I really don't mind. Like summer, I think about growing up, especially during high school, summer concerts were a big part of the summer. Like you would see Kid Rock. And you'd be with that chick that really liked Kid Rock, and then things kind of pop off. You like your songs. My name is Kid, And you had that little person dude who was like, my name's Joe C and the place to be, who had some of the most complex rhymes I've ever heard in my life. And unfortunately, he passed. He passed away. Joe C, I think his name was. He was on that South Park soundtrack. Him and Kid Rock had a song. But those summer concerts are just beautiful, man. That's just some of my best. Oh, gosh, I remember one time, me and my people, one of my most epic concerts was going to see the Wu-Tang Clan. And if you know me, you know I am a Wu-Tang Clan, practically a member. If there were, I think there's 9 of them. There are 9 of them. I'm trying to act like I don't know my trivia. And then there's Cappadonna. Cappadonna is really nice. He was underrated at first. His solo album is underrated like a mug. But when he came in and he had a verse, it was pretty dope. But once in a while, they would say that I could be that other member, that 11th member. That I'd be kind of like Cappadonna, but not really. And then there's that thing that they don't even know who I am as a person. But that's how much I like Wu-Tang Clan. And there was this thing that white people liked a lot in the 90s. And God, did I just play with my hair? Whew. I got to, though, because it's going, bro. And as you see, man, look at me, bro. I grew it back out because of the quarantine. Barbershops are closed, bro. My nail salon, or my, salon's closed, too. It was closed. They're doing what? Yeah, go back and see those people because they need that love. There was this white band by the name of, there was this band. There was a white band that white people loved, and it was called Rage Against the Machine. And they were performing, and Rage Against the Machine was pretty much about upper to middle class white people, like white men that like to just yell pretty much about revolution and going against the system, but really not knowing and having a full understanding of a well-rounded understanding of what you were singing about, what the lyrics were about as far as with the revolution. But they would be pissed off. Because there was a lot of angst in the 90s with the music. The grunge era, people were just pissed and people didn't know why. Besides, it just sucked being a teenager at times because there's just always growing pains and the angst and your parents and the system. Rage Against the Machine, man, they're about that, though. They would get you hyped. You didn't know what you were going to do, dude. You didn't know what the revolution, or you were looking around like, where's the revolution? And people were like, we're not really rebelling right now. We're just screaming these lyrics out. F you, I won't do what you tell me. F you, I won't do what you tell me. I mean, you'd have like, hundreds of Chads, and I'd be in the middle, but like, you ain't gonna do what you tell me. And I'd be chanting, and I'd be on the lawn. This was when Charlotte, I was in the lawn. Gosh, I was on the lawn that day because it was an epic trip because we graduated and it was the summer. I think it was June maybe or July. And Rage Against the Machine and Wu-Tang played. And we all got in our car. And back then you could just drive in your car as an 18, 17-year-old, 16-year-old. I remember this one kid, he was 13 and he was driving. This kid was driving, bro. He was just driving. And people were in the car with him that could drive. And I'm just like, won't you just drive? It was lawless. It was, growing up in the 90s was just like, it was just raw. Just like ODB. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. So we all went and we had we were 6, 7 cars deep. Nobody really had a big, huge car. We just had a bunch of, we're all middle class. Just rolling out there. And, a bunch of 4-doors. And I remember just going out there. Gosh, I forgot who I rode with, but it was Liddy. And I remember just going to that concert. And it was the greatest trip I've ever been on. And I remember just bits and pieces of it. It was just it was incredible. I can't remember. I've seen Wu-Tang a handful of times, and I can't remember who wasn't there. It's always when you see the Wu-Tang Clan, they got 9 members in Cat. There's always all 10 of them aren't going to be there. Now, of course, they're never going to be all together because rest in peace, ODB. But I want to say one of my top guys I was excited to see was not there. Gosh, was Dirty not there? Dirty or the Jizza? One of them, whoever would have made the show perfect. I mean, it was great. It's one of my fondest memories. But I remember being at that Rage Against the Machine summer show with Wu-Tang Clan. And Wu came on first because Rage had just blown up with that the Revolution CD. And everybody knows what that CD is, even if you have never heard it. It's one of those CDs, if you put on and you never heard it, you're like, man, you start chanting, you don't do what you tell me. You won't do, you just start singing it because it's in your DNA. If you're from the suburbs and you have some of the advantages that other people don't have, that's just what that is. So I remember it got out of hand. And there started to be a fire. Somebody started a fire. And we sat on the because you got to sit, if you're that age, you got to sit on you can't worry about getting good seats. I get good seats now because I'm older and I just really want to have my seat. I'm not young like I used to where I can just run around and just be chaotic and just have a whole, it was just so much fun. But I remember there was a fire, and there was fires, like little fire. People started lighting stuff on fire because it's a revolution. And Rage Against the Machine was playing. And I remember there was a big circle, and everything was happening so fast. And of course, I hadn't drank enough water. Who knows what was going on? I was a teenager. So I probably was just wilding out and just living in every second of the moment, which is what you should do. And I remember I had a good friend, and something happened. He got I know what happened. It's very vague, but I remember a little bit. They started doing they started surfing, crowd surfing, and then they started mosh pitting. And somehow my buddy got split open. And and his head was split open, and it was a hand, and he got messed up real bad. I think he hit something, maybe a sign or something, as he was like moshing, or just got ripped. He was just wilding out because it was a good time. And I remember coming to it, and I saw him, and he was covered with blood, and was dripping. And dude, next thing I know, I'm on the ground. No, I remember getting really kind of queasy because I'm not good with that kind of stuff. And I remember, I remember just like there was a dream, it's almost like a dream sequence, kind of like, oh man, it's hard to, like a scene out of like Train Spotting or something, a movie where it's just kind of incoherent and you're just like, nothing's really focusing, everything's kind of moving around, and I started, and because I saw the blood, and I was gone. And I remember just like, I don't know if it was right before I passed out, but I remember some guy saying, hey man, there's a fire over there. And I didn't know who this guy was. And I was looking around trying to find my friends because I was going to be like, dude, it's happened before. It had happened before, and I know it was coming on. And I wanted to tell somebody, I was like, dude, I'm going to pass out. So just give me some water. Just put, I'm going to be on the ground. Just make sure nobody burns me. Don't make sure I don't get burned. My body doesn't get burned from the fires from listening to Rage Against the Machine. And I just remember that one guy going, man, there's a fire over there. There's a fire. And then I remember looking down, and this was one of my last images, and his pants and his bottom of his shoes and pants, he was on fire. And I was just like, what is going on, dude? We're in like the Walnut Creek of Charlotte in the middle of the summer. It's 127 degrees probably beside a fire. and my buddies just got busted open. And I wanted to help my friend, but then there were so many of us from the crew, and I just remember waking up or just looking up and seeing my good friend. He's like, "Hey man, you all right?" And what I really hated was I always felt bad about this. The guy that was helping me the most, of course, it always works like this. Some people are just like, he'll be all right. Let's just don't make sure he don't get on fire. And if he gets on fire a little bit, it'll be okay. Because, I mean, people were on fire. People were on fire. People are like, next time when somebody ever says, "I had a good time at the show," I'm like, did anybody get caught on fire? Did you pass out? Did somebody get 17 stitches? Because I'm pretty sure, I don't think it was 17, but he got multiple stitches from getting his head butt. And then if they say no, then I'm like, well, you didn't go to Rage the Machine and Wu-Tang. Because I did. In the 1996. 1996. Yeah. So I remember waking up, and it was the guy that was helping me, or the guy helping me was, of course, the one that was most passionate about the bands, especially Rage Against the Machine. And I always felt bad because he had to give me what he got me. He's the one that went. He said, "Man, you all right?" I was like, "Yeah." Had somebody else probably there. People were making fun of me because, I mean, that's just what you did. You just get made fun of. You're a teenager. But some people were really concerned. They were like, "All right, you're going to be all right." And I was like, "Man, I'm pretty sure I told them I'm going to be okay. I just need some water, man, because I'm done, you know." And telling this story, I'm even like, it's coming back. But that guy gave me a water, and he made sure I was okay. And I always apologize to him, even to this day, that I felt like I owe him a show. Because he had to sit there and do that and take care of me. But that, and then, as soon as I got back up and I got my bearings, I was, I finished out the show. It was wild. It was wild. Pretty sure we got I think we just drove home after that. But that's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of memories, though. And I, always think about this, like right now, and think about the graduates, the high school graduates, mainly, too, because high school is just such a weird, it's just that time when you graduate. It's just like nothing's ever going to be the same. You got some people going to college. You got some people that are going to get in trade. You got some people taking a year off. You'll never see some people again. It's wild. And I just remember that being a fond memory because that was the last time we had graduated. That was the last time we'd all be together like that again. And, we stayed in touch, and you fall out of touch with certain people, and that's life. And that's beautiful. But at the same time, it's just like, people say just really take in and enjoy this moment. And that's the reason why. Because I just realized that even then we had a reunion many, many years later. And unfortunately, not everybody showed up. And some people were not with us anymore. And, that moment, though, that you have, I look on it, very fondly, and I'm just like, man, gosh, that's one of the summer concerts. I really do miss summer concerts right now in the quarantine. And it's not going to be nothing compared to those that I went, back in the day, and that they were very nostalgic. But now young people can go to festivals. I couldn't even imagine being like 17, 18, 19 years old and going to a festival. Because I was a little bit older when I went to that. I was fresh a little bit after, maybe out of college. I went to Bonnaroo, and I went to a couple other ones, and I was just like, this is incredible. It blows my mind. Just that, the whole thing behind it, the concept behind it is beautiful. It's just amazing. It's perfect for 17, 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20. It's just, that's the way to do it. I would, you got people, we always had people following around certain bands like Fish or The Dead or Widespread or whatever, but those festivals were just like pretty, I couldn't imagine, lining up. And I just missed that to be young. I was still young. I was pretty young. But, yeah, it's just like kind of crazy. So Comedy shows, I'm looking forward to. I mean, some people are trying to do 50% comedy shows, but I saw that there was a couple of Rona breakouts from some well-known ones across the country. Like the comedian got Rona and was taking pictures with people because they were being sloppy. So that's definitely something that it just is. I just don't see being fully comfortable going until it's going to be a while. Hopefully, I'm thinking spring. Going to a show and just, I don't want to go anywhere and have to worry about giving it to somebody, because I got that symptomatic, asymptomatic. I'm so dumb. I just don't want to worry about that. So until I can get on a plane and just go, it's just, it's just one of those things. So staying positive and testing negative is going to be the focus for the next however much time we have. So you can say that at the water cooler. You can borrow that, what I was looking at the other day? I got some, I don't know about you, but I take pictures, and a lot of times they're on my phone, and then once in a while I'll hook up to my computer and it will download them automatically. And you can kind of look through and I'll put them in a photo book or whatever. But I caught myself looking at pictures pre-pandemic, like it was almost like if you had been going through, like, it's so true in a way. I was thinking about this, like it was like like the good old days, the good times, like before the breakup. I look at the pandemic as a bad, messy breakup. It's just like you just broke up with your significant other, right? But there were some happier times, and I caught a picture of me like in February, and I was like with a friend, and I was just genuinely happy, and just like none of this experience had even happened. And I heard, like, you hear stuff about it, but it was right before, it was early February when you started hearing that what this possibly could become. But I wasn't it wasn't severe enough for me to really take it seriously. So when I looked at that picture, I was like, dude, this is when I was pre-Rona. This is like pre-breakup. Like, it's just like you look at it, when there was a happier time. I was like, that nostalgic. This is kind of a nostalgic episode, but I think that's why you guys listen, because you want to have it. The younger viewers kind of get a good idea, and then the older ones like, I know what you mean, man. I went to that show. I went to that concert. I saw that Neil Young. I saw that Jimi Hendrix. Like that match on fire, dude. And and people were praising it, dude. Because we probably got some people that probably went to the original Woodstock, or they might have been just conceived at that Woodstock hitter. I got old, young. I got my wide variety of an audience is what makes LU the really time, right? So that was just something that I could kind of talk about. We got one. Gosh knows. We got a question. Relationship wise. Dear LU, love the content. You're a legend. Thank you. I appreciate it. And this is from Lisa. What's up, Lisa? Got a relationship question. I'm here for you. You say, I'm having trouble falling asleep at night beside my significant other. He which we will remain unnamed, snores severely, especially after having a few pops at night. Do you have any solutions? Thank you. God bless. Lisa. Let me tell you this right now. I think, and this is not going to be popular, okay? LU, been in relationships, okay? Gotten kind of serious, kind of like Kip and Napoleon Dynamite. Shout out to Napoleon Dynamite. I'm going to have to talk about Napoleon Dynamite one of these episodes and maybe dedicate the whole episode to the greatest movie of all time, Napoleon Dynamite. One of them, by far. But Kip just says, we're getting kind of serious. You remember that when he's with LaFonda? He was with LaFonda and he was getting kind of serious. But what I'm about to say right now, Lisa, and like your significant other, let me tell you something right now, dude. If it's up to me, and I will remain single, and I will die on this hill, I'm getting a place with separate rooms. There is no reason to actually sleep in the same bed with anybody. You basically have your own space. That way, everybody can sleep. So you don't have to worry about people sleepwalking. I know some people that sleepwalk. That's the wildest thing. And I'm jealous. People be doing stuff, popping off, sleepwalking. You don't have to worry about having having body gas. That's the worst thing. I remember we used to wake up your girl. I used to wake up my girl. She'd complain because of the body gas. It'd sound like, oh my God, is there a earthquake coming? What is that? What, we are being attacked? Hit the ground, do a stop, drop, and roll. Nah, I just got the body gas. Getting up in the middle of the night using the restroom, that's overrated. It's nothing that happens sleeping in the same bed is, as far as you want to be productive the next day, do you want to try to get your 7, 8, whatever many hours you need? You don't need to be sleeping in the same bed. That's why I like the movie or the show The Crown. Do you ever watch The Crown? You have the Queen, and then you have, what's his name? In different rooms. And your room's nice. I can put up a picture of Christy Brinkley. I could put up a picture of a Corvette. I could put up that Lamborghini header that you could used to get at the book fair. Man, you don't even know about the book fair in elementary school. We used to pop off, man. We were just getting lit. We were just buying those and we were putting them up. I got my Christy Brinkley and then I got Brett Favre. I got Brett Favre in the pocket. And I can put those up without hearing, why do you want to put that up? Because it's Brett Favre, baby. He's a gunslinger. Put my Christy Brinkley up. Who else did I like back in the day? Any kind of SI model. That SI hitter come out, I always had it. Always had it. I take it and tuck it. Got to keep that thing protected. Naomi Campbell. Had that picture up. I had a bunch of great posters, but I could put those up. I could wear a Who Farted shirt as pajamas, and it'd just be understood, and you could get a good night's sleep. Dude, overrated. Sleeping in the same bed with your spouse. Overrated. Don't need it. If you can afford it, have 2 different rooms, 2 bedrooms. One might have to be bigger than the other. That's okay. Flip for it. And if you really keeping it real, and you only have, let's say, a studio or maybe a one bedroom apartment, maybe that living space needs to be another room, bedroom, so you can keep civil, you can get good night's rest, you can, and then you're not with the person all the time, just some of the time. And cuddling, are you serious? Cuddling? Oh, dude. No, no, no. Definitely. At first, I know it sounds crazy. And I know it's revolutionary. And I know it just sounds wild. And I know that I've been talking about Rage Against the Machine. And you're probably thinking that's affected my brain. But let me tell you right now. You need a separate bedroom. So you can have energy, be alive, love life, baby. And that is probably the easiest question I've ever had. And I bodied that thing, bruh. Because happiness is also independence. And you don't have to be like this all the time. If your girl's got the body gas, let her sit fast in another bedroom. If she has those nightmare episodes, screaming, or she punches, if she's physical. Some people get physical during their dreams and start punching. Don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it because you're in separate areas. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't go to your significant others and watch Netflix and watch a show together. But then again, have your own account, have your own television, watch what you want. Oh my gosh, your man doesn't like sports? Well, I guess I'll go to my bedroom and watch sports. Oh, does she not like 90 Day Fiancé? Well, I'll just set up right here in my bedroom. You can get a little fridge. You could just, and when you see each other from that point on, it'll be like exciting. It'll be exciting. It'll be like, oh, it's good to see you. And that's how you keep, that's why the divorce rate right now is going sky high. People marrying their high school sweetheart. They're together way too long. People are marrying their college sweetheart, some guy they met in college. And now they're together all the time. They realize they don't like them that much. The best thing you can do is maybe get that 2-bedroom header. And dude, sacrifice. If you get the smaller room, you're okay though, because you got your thing. And you got that poster. You got that live poster, that Pulp Fiction. You get that Pulp Fiction picture. You get that Uma Thurman Kill Bill hitter on, and you get to wake up every day and see that. And you don't bother each other's sleep patterns. Those little things that say that you hook up to yourself, and they say like, you woke up at this time, or blah, 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 or whatever. You know what they do? You know what a lot of them don't say? That your significant other farted and woke you up. Maybe they did. Maybe the Apple Watch does that. And sometimes it's silent but deadly, and you just like you don't hear it, you just breathe it and taste it. And those can be dangerous, vicious, poisonous. But that's what we're talking about here. That's what we're talking about here. Man, let's get, and I've said this before, but let's get through this. I feel like we're not even in the thick of it, but mentally, let's try to stay afloat and try to manage this next few months. Because if it's true and we're going to hit a stride, or maybe we'll hit another dip, or maybe it will get better, but it won't completely go away. Really have to be there, and just kind of know that everybody's kind of going through a little something. because it's not fun. And even like things aren't, when you compare it to like 1918 or whatever, the Depression, we're going to be okay. We're all right. But still, we're not built for this, really. We need to see people. We need to not have to worry about all this stuff, because usually you might meet up with somebody, a crew, or you might visit someone that you don't usually see, but seeing them makes your day or makes your year or makes your month or whatever. But now you're kind of without that, and it can be very disconcerting. It can be very discouraging. So I just kind of trying to remember that everybody is kind of experiencing that, dealing with it in their own way. Because I definitely know ups and downs. Yeah, it's just, already life, it can be that, but this is even crazier. So, it is one of those things. It is what it is. But I do appreciate you tuning in. And man, I can't even believe it. That it's almost going to be 2 years coming up. And I would say I'm going to do something special, but I don't even know. For so long I said I was going to get a guest, and I even was thinking about reaching out to somebody, but I then kind of picked up when I was texting them that they were kind of wigged out about the whole quarantine thing, and they were just like not 100% comfortable. And I'm like, it's just like I said, if I want to have my first guest, I want it to be balls to the wall. I want you to be yourself. I don't want any kind of, or maybe I just want to be very organic and real and not having to think about, but maybe, I don't know, who knows, maybe I won't count it out, but definitely trying to not, I committed and said that try to say I'm never going to sign up for Zoom again or do a Zoom, but that was dumb. I'm going to be doing a Zoom really soon. Have no choice, baby. It's kind of crazy, but anyway, hang in there, man. If you have any advice, just some things, maybe some websites you can share. I love answering questions. That was a great question. Write in for a question if you have one. I appreciate all you, just all the support and love. And I will see you. And God bless, baby. Lonely Uncle 40. On if you want to, join me on that. That's an adventure. And I'll do a promo and I'll post these episodes. And then I'll subscribe to Lonely Uncle Podcast on YouTube. Try to get up in those high figures.